So what other systems, parts of your operations, have you integrated and stitched together? How did it go? So the whole idea of a good information system is not just doing things in finance, but pushing information and really affecting the top line of the business, as well as the bottom line.
One of the big drivers behind choosing a new accounting platform, in addition to the transaction volume, was to get a solution that was integrated into our operating system. We're an e-commerce site, so all of the orders and all of the information on consumers, et cetera, restaurants, were held within our operating system. Previous to Intact, we had QuickBooks sitting over here siloed, and we were doing daily entries to try to match up numbers. When you go through an audit for the first couple times, particularly when you go with a Big 10 firm through an audit, they're going to want to know down to the last dollar what fell last month, what falls next month. Don't tell me that you don't know the answer to the two questions. Well, we've got 5 credit card programs, we've got 2 sets of systems, they're all settling at different rates and different timing. We knew we had to integrate the operating system and the financial system directly in order to eliminate any question on where the money was at every moment of the day. We were trying to get into a SOX compliant environment, trying to get ready for a whole bunch of activities that required that. So that was the one integration point. Another side was, on the other side, when you start looking at analyzing your data and making your decision support meaningful, our initial take was we would roll up our order history by day. Because we had the operating system with the detail, we thought customer service uses operating system, we don't have to get into the accounting records at that detail. We quickly found out, and fortunately Access Tech responded very quickly, that we needed order level data in our accounting system too in order to do the business metrics on the other side. So we started setting up the dashboards and things like that so we could use the system more readily for business reporting. That doesn't eliminate the need for either an Excel or an adaptive planning to handle your FP&A, but it certainly gets you a whole lot of the way there rather than stopping short with separation.
And Tanya, same question. So what other systems and operations or what other kind of softwares are you either have you implemented or are you looking at with the back end?
I think that definitely one of the bigger steps, bigger achievements of this whole transition was that we're able to connect various departments between themselves. We really are running a whole number of different softwares, and one of our companies is an insurance broker, so they have their own software called GBS that keeps various information on their clients in that software. Our marketing department uses ACT, so they've got their database. We have a number of other providers that we use, and none of them really talk to each other. So what we found is that the new software has allowed us to get all that information in there because it's highly compatible with any kind of data, and even just by simple imports, we can get the data in, and we can make the data available to all these various departments that need it just through the dashboards. It's taken us less time to do that, and it's definitely providing a great benefit. So.
And Lindy, talk about how the cloud allows companies to, or the cloud as a system and a backbone allows different systems to start talking to each other that wasn't previously available.
Sure. The concept of the cloud is, and you guys in the audience are developing a lot of technology. I mean, out in the show floor, I've seen a lot of vendors that are doing stuff in the cloud, and they're very specific applications. The Intact Cloud Accounting Solution is a best-of-breed financial accounting solution. So by nature, it needs to be open enough and to have the tools to be able to interface with lots of other systems. So that's, inherently in it, it's the technical, it uses web services and APIs to be able to do that, but it's open, but with the secure infrastructure from the cloud to be able to pass data elegantly between multiple systems, to be able to share that data, to get the visibility in the dashboards, that our clients are looking for. And I think the key in both Tanya's and Amy's case, that I know them very well in their setups, is to use the concept in Intact of a multi-dimensional architecture. So where traditionally accounting systems would just be a general ledger, would hold just the general ledger data. Scott, you may have this as well. with Intact, to utilize this multidimensional tagging of data coming from the subsidiary module, so from sales data or purchasing data or project accounting data, anything, even the coming from the websites at Grubhub, we are tagging transactions now with many different codes or tags, and then in the dashboard level, we're able to slice and dice the data to get that real-time visibility into P&Ls by customer, by employee, by product line, by service line, by project. So it's enabled our clients to get that higher level of business reporting, literally without adding a ton of programming, without adding a lot of infrastructure. You're not adding file servers, you're not adding buying a bunch of applications. It's all inherent in the solution.
And Scott, talk about where you are in terms of like integration, in terms of your professional services, and how you integrate perhaps with your CRM, or what you might be doing going forward with your CRM.
Yeah. So I think what was critical and why we chose Intact was, one, for the same reason, it's a best-of-breed solution, but the main driver was not necessarily the accounting system. It was going to my sales team, and they actually use Salesforce CRM. That is what they choose to use, and if I were wanting to change that, they'd probably behead me. They would not let that happen. It's something they've used for many, many years, and so what was really critical for me was trying to figure out how can I find a solution that integrates really well with my CRM solution. And so Intact was that solution that has a working API that enables me to take the order entries into from Salesforce and put them straight into my accounting system so that it's seamless. It doesn't have any kind of data entry errors. So we're working through the integration of that right now. Our business has some unique challenges that make that in the way that we do our revenue recognition, but we're working with kind of Salesforce and our team at Intact to make that possible. But I think that was probably the most desirable factor, is that we really, Intact can fit into kind of this cloud hub that works with all of the best-of-breed solutions. If it's Salesforce or if it's an operating system, it works with our time tracking system as well. So kind of holistically, given the technology, it enables me to get the data all centralized so that we can make decisions very quickly and allow all of the different operating units, if it's sales, if it's my client service team, to be able to use the tools that they enjoy, that are effective for them, and enable them to kind of continue to use those tools and allow us to make decisions very quickly.